Hi, hello, how are you? I'm an insane chook, and this is another Fumble and Fall while I draw. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before in my work in progress list or not, but I am not stopping Fumble or Fall or work in progress list because these are two different themes for videos. Fumble and Fall has me talking aimlessly and randomly, and has more fumbled words and random confused rumbling as well as random tangents. And not to mention that the drawings in Fumble and Fall will often start out as new drawings, and work in progress lists are all old and unfinished projects that I barely started or was close to finishing but never did. Now we can start talking about what I'm doing here. Recently, I've been overindulging myself on Elder Scrolls Online for reasons, and have completely I have been completely sidetracked and forgotten why I'm playing Elder Scrolls lately, which was to gather reference material for some stuff. Now, I'd like to introduce my favorite character to play with in Elder Scrolls Online, this Khajiit, whose name I can't pronounce. My little lesbian disaster who falls in love with every woman that says something nice to her. She doesn't know how to flirt and has the thickest calves ever. Forget Thunder Thighs, we now have colossal calves. She's a Nightblade, which is the name for rogues in Elder Scrolls Online. She's part of the Aldmeri Dominion, which in the Second Era aren't horrible races, or completely horrible races, with views of world domination like the ones in the Fourth Era. I would say that out of all the alliances in Elder Scrolls Online, they're the least dysfunctional group. I mean, the Daggerfall Covenant has two races that have been known to work together quite nicely, and then the one race they've constantly attacked and destroyed the one city on multiple occasions, to the point they just don't want to build a city anymore because fool's errand and all that. And you know what? They drag them into their weird covenant as well. Then you have the Ebonheart Pact. I would elaborate, but the summary is like how you walk into Windhelm in Skyrim. Nords hate Dark Elves and Argonians are just not cool with each other. Why would they ever be cool? I'm surprised that the Argonians aren't more angry. They were just freed from servitude, and now they have to join the pact? With their former masters. I don't understand that. At the very least, the Khajiit and the Bosmer were on okayish terms. You know how countries are when they're with their neighbours. They're not friendly. They constantly try to push each other's boundaries. That's the relationship between Khajiit and Bosmer, but they're like, we're amicable at the very most. And the High Elves just didn't care. Like, they live on their Somerset Isles, far away from everybody. And it's just like, we can't be bothered dealing with you lower beings. So it's just like not much interaction. And so it's just like, at least they're on a blank page with each other. And with many of my Elder Scrolls Online characters, she has a theme and a focus. And her focus, theme and focus. And you know how you can pick a role for Elder Scrolls, like when you go into dungeons? I pick support for her. Because that's the only thing I'm really good at when I play games. Is playing support and healing people. It's a choice. I'm not being forced. Don't worry. I just like healing. I'm not very good at anything else. And so yeah, so her theme is basically she's supposed to be undaunted, and that's what I like. She's undaunted. She's rowdy. She sometimes enjoys a good mug of ale and all that. I guess I can also talk more about what I'm drawing at the same time. So like, I mean, I pulled out... So that little picture file I pulled out, that was... I drew that on Microsoft Paint. I don't know if I should ever upload that video. I also rambled in that. And I think I was also planning to upload that as well. But I don't know, I might have changed my mind. Who knows? I don't. I never know. Some things that I like to do when I draw these stuff is that once I've like gotten the sketch and then I'm very close to finishing it, I will like use an eraser and then make it as light as possible so that I can keep on drawing, basically. Right now it's still in the stage of like a sketch, but I'm just like refining it. Half of the time I don't know what I'm doing. But I am looking at my reference material, which you guys can't see because I'm hiding it behind my head. That wasn't a choice, that was an accident. I am prone to that sort of thing. And I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say more about what I'm drawing. But every single artist has their own techniques for how they like to figure things out. I just like using line. Like, let me be absolutely frank and honest. I use short lines not because I was thinking they're gonna be a cat. Those are gonna be slit pupils. No, that's just how I always do things. Now, other things I'm gonna do is just like resize things, because the beauty of a sketch is that nothing's ever certain. Things are approximate, and then you just go, yep, that's how it's gonna be, and then you resize things as you go. That's one of the positives of doing digital art, is that you can resize your drawing whenever. With traditional art, you can't do that. You have to constantly just figure it out completely. And then when you realize that something's too small, you have to just redraw that part. As long as you did it with a pencil, it's fine. If you've given up and are drawing out of spite or stress, you can just use a pen and then just like, hey, whoops, made a mess, I'm gonna ignore that and power through everything. And that's how things are. As you can see, I don't know I personally don't know what I was doing. It's been a couple of days. I was going to like do proper recording and talk and stuff, but then I forgot halfway through. I don't know. Yes. What am I saying yes about? I don't know. I ran out of script to talk about. And this is just because I ran out of script, I have nothing else to talk about. And the worst part is, I still have another half of the video to... So, okay. It's worse than anything. We're not halfway through this video. Not to mention that I split this video into, the recordings into 2 videos, because this is just a sketch. The next one is all the coloring. And I have run out of things to say completely here. Like, oh boy, I don't know what to say. I mean, I can say, if you ever see me and my character here walking about Tamriel on Elder Scrolls Online, don't say hi, because I'm a I'm a nervous mess. I'm a nervous mess, a huge wreck, and I'm sure it won't ever happen because I'm not popular enough for anything to happen. So, but still, don't say hi to me. I'm too shy. I can only talk loudly and rambly here because this is still just me talking to myself. And I really don't know what to say right now. I will mention that I early on, one of my first few like dungeon skirmishes, I think it was in Spindle Clutch, the Spindle Clutch caverns. I can't remember the full name, and I don't want to pull out anything to figure it out. But basically, when I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one. Probably the second one, because we had a lot of time there waiting for somebody, I think. I don't know. But we were in there, and one of my group members, they said, "Look at that cat wearing a dog!" And I spent several minutes looking around the room trying to find out what they were talking about. Is it like, did somebody's two pets merge together at the same time, and then they're just like, oh, a cat is just wearing the dog? And I was looking around just going, where? And then they just go, you're the cat wearing the dog. And I had completely forgotten, oh, that's right, I am wearing a wolf's head. And the other funny thing is that I, at the time, there was a guild that was still active at the time that basically introduced me to the whole, like, dungeon crawling for fun. Originally, I only ever did it once, and that was just to cross off a quest off of my list. But, like, finding out from the, I think it was because I just volunteered randomly they were looking for a healer, and I was bored and I joined up. And then that's how I just like started doing dungeon delving and becoming a proper Undaunted. And this is my, like, afterwards I started really enjoying it, and this is my character that I use for dungeon delving. A lot, I think. Well, nowadays that is. And what was I saying? I don't know. I never know. Also, I'm gonna be honest, I hate drawing hands. I also not that great at drawing hands, but I am better than how I started. And also the trick and tip to drawing hands is a whole bunch of looking at the, like, not just standard tutorials, because I was like the problem with watching a lot of tutorials on it is that a lot of times when people teach others how to draw, they forget like the proper way of going to where to start. Because there's the problem with teaching somebody how to draw is that you sometimes go very simple, and then you forget the fact that these are a whole bunch of skills that you learned over the years before you could reach that very amazing sort of like level where you're able to teach. And then you forget that the person you're teaching barely knows how to draw a square or something like that. And then you're suddenly telling them to draw a trapezoid or anything like that, and it's just like, that doesn't help. not to mention that a lot of artists, it's become instinct, so it's hard to tell an artist to like stop, like think back before you honed your instinct to this immaculate level. So the answer for like how do you draw hands, it's a whole bunch of practice makes perfect. That might drive people crazy hearing that, but it's also the only thing that is really true to art. Practice does make perfect. In fact, the way I learned how to draw hands is a whole upsetting thing of I looked at a book that showed you how to draw, like how to draw from life basically, and then I, because like I still had like a lot of loose grasps about how to draw hands, so looking at that book just taught me like more tricks that you can follow. It's just something absolute headache inducing sometimes when you realize these things. I don't really know what to say next. What was I saying beforehand? I know that I was talking about a cat wearing a dog. Oh yeah, I remember. I was talking about how like I was in a guild. They were called Hircine's Champions. Do you know who Hircine is? He is a Daedric prince of a hunt and stuff. And the champions, the Hircine's Champions, they were in the most hilarious this level. They were a guild of werewolf. Like a lot of werewolf players basically. The guild's dead nowadays. Nobody on that guild plays anymore, I think. It's just gone quiet. I'm pretty much the only person that's alive there. But yeah, it's basically that might be the most hilarious thing, is a Khajiit walking into, so it's like yes, a werewolf club, and here's a cat walking into the club, a werewolf club, wearing a werewolf head. Am I trying to go disguising myself as a werewolf, or am I insulting somebody, or am I insulting the whole guild by pretending to be a werewolf and not being a werewolf? That's a funny thing. And I did spend a couple of like for a while going, should I purchase that werewolf, like should I purchase or beg for a werewolf curse to become a werewolf, and then for everything to make sense? I thought about it, but I thought it was more funny to be a cat wearing a dog that had nothing to, in a werewolf club that had no actual werewolf powers, because that's hilarious. On another note, here's a warning. I'm actually pretty good at drawing feet, and nowadays saying that is such a disappointing thing. Like, I have to explain very clearly that the reason why I'm very good at drawing feet isn't because of creepy stuff. It's because we had an assignment, and when I was in art college or something, TAFE basically, which is, I guess for the rest of the world they would just call it like a college or something, or a technical school. I don't know how to comprehend how to like equate anything, but basically in my like life drawing class, the teacher basically gave us an assignment where we have to pick something that we're really bad at drawing from the human body, I think, and or just in general, I think. I can't remember. It might have been human body, I don't know. and we were supposed to fill out a whole sketchbook of what we can't draw, and then like practice it until we got better and better. And we could stick in worksheets and whatnot, printed things and all that. And I basically focused on 3 things. One was hands, as you can tell. I don't know if the progress has translated or not, because it's been like a couple of years. I think 10 years. And like I went on a weird like 10-year break, I think. Well, less than 10 years. And it was more like sporadic break, so sporadically coming back to draw, but not drawing seriously, sort of thing. And all that stuff. So one was hands, one was the head at different angles, mostly profile, I think. So I'm very good at drawing profiles. And the last thing was feet. Bare feet. So yeah. So it's not because of creepy things. It's because I had to do a project where we focused on 3 things. I think it was at least 3 things that we were bad at drawing. And hands and feet were 2 of the 3 things that I chose. So that's why I have pretty good sense of feet. It's not because I'm a pervert. Why is that so negative? We have to clear up in this day. Oh, what am I saying? In this day and age, this is sort of like the weirdest thing. But it's also like, there's a lot of feet people. There's a whole website for feet. God, why is the world like this? God, I don't know. But yeah, those are the 3 things I was like hyper focused on for that one assignment. And I will be honest with you, it's also almost gloating at this point, but like I did so well that my teacher showed my sketchbook to basically all the other classes. Basically as an example of like what you can do if you put your mind to it, or more like what students are capable of doing, basically. And I'm sure that if I wasn't so like intent on taking it back home, because I know that I would forget how I drew hands and feet and the side of a face, she would have probably happily kept it and showed the later years. But because I still struggle with hands and feet, I kept the book. So this book is still in my room. There's a lot of information and all that stuff, and everything's great. I still pick it up from time to time when I'm struggling on hands and feet. Mostly feet. I don't know why I struggle so much with feet sometimes. It's just so much triangles. I think it's because of like the whole no I wanted to say it's the whole ankle and calf sort of thing about which side goes up and which side goes down. But that's just not it. It's just that sometimes you want your feet at weird angles. So yeah, I don't know why I focus so much on like that part, because I'm gonna rub that out because the hand's in front of it. God, I don't know why I do some things. I also don't know what that is. What am I doing? Oh wait, I remember what I was doing. Yeah, I remember what it was. I remember. I remember. One band was the pants, the other band is the weird banding that they have. I think the next video I might talk about more about how crazy in love I'm with the lore of like Elder Scrolls. Right now I want to clarify other things. For example, I want to clarify, just because I like playing as a Khajiit does not make me a furry. That's all I want to clarify right now. I am not a furry. Also, just because I'm wearing a chicken hat, right, this also does not make me a furry. God, this world is weird. Why do we have to clarify these things? God. The world is weird and disappointing sometimes. And some people are just making it more obvious that this world is just weird. Maybe it's the internet that makes people weird. I don't know. I don't know. At this point, I just really don't know anymore. So many innocent things can be skewed so weirdly. I just don't know why it's like that. Ugh. If aliens come to visit us, I don't know what they'll think, but I feel like a primary emotion that they're going to feel is probably disappointed in us. There is no saving humanity from our own embarrassment, and people embrace that. I hope that if aliens ever come to visit, they're gonna just accept us for being this weird group of living beings. And right now I'm just drawing the stool that she's stepping on. And all that jazz. I do love drawing wood. It's always like a very fun sort of thing of where do the lines go? And wonderful about how, like, particularly with wood, it's like, especially with the handcrafted stuff, it's like not everything is fully straight, which is great for like drawing and stuff like that. There's so much joy in the little imperfections of life. It's like something you should just appreciate. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, and it makes things very pleasing to look at, in my opinion. I also know I'm not like the best artist. In fact, I guess maybe I'll save that talk for the next video, because I want to clarify something about how much I hate the word talent, like especially when described. Like one of the things I've always felt uncomfortable about is being described as talented, because that is so far from the truth, it's almost laughable. Talent should, like, the word talented should be saved for, like, my brother and sister, and not somebody like me, because I guess I'm gonna save that conversation for the next video, because we're almost at the end of this video. Once we finish this tale, it's like this sketch will be done. And I don't think I want to like squeeze this one but very important topic into just like less than a minute. So that will be a conversation for next time. Well, as for now, we'll just watch as I finish this drawing. So, in total, it took me 1 hour and 59 minutes and 12 seconds to finish. Good nay? What's good nay?